Yeah. Yeah.
Being recorded. All right, sweet. Well, we'll give them a half a second. All right, so I'm kicking up. But you guys are leading it, though. I'm just kicking off.
Sure.
I mean,
It's the off season.
shouldn't that just be what it is? It just picks up with us just talking. Peter can do whatever he wants with it.
I
We
mean,
should
you
have
know,
Peter on here.
I'm intentionally just sitting here smiling because it's already recording. So I'm just enjoying whatever this turns into.
All right, let's go. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. We are here, the podcast recording for you guys a little, what are we in? Spring wrap up, spring 26 season wrap up. I got myself, you can see everybody on the screen this time. 2.0 is using his fancy Zoom link so we can see everybody this time. So we got myself, Ryan, I broadcast soccer games now, 2.0, and Bob the Bob Hartman. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm
doing
great.
great. Oh,
The same
Is this your
time,
first Zoom?
man.
Is this your first Zoom meeting too? Because I don't know if you know how this works.
It's like the nod, like, yeah, you go, yeah.
You do it. You do it. Yeah.
This is
My
off
first
to a
Zoom
great
too. So
start.
thank you.
Should we just restart this over? This is off to a great start.
Now let's roll with it.
All
Three,
right, we're
two.
rolling with it. We're rolling with it. We all got blue on. We're all feeling blue. We all got blue and blue backgrounds. I
I know. I wish my design was like a little higher.
I gotta change my background here since we're all.
I gotta show D'Angelo all the whole time.
I love that. I love it. I like that Meg is just right there, always watching.
And this guy, no idea who he is.
Just
I ordered the shirt. Yeah, I ordered this shirt with 5 of my friends' faces on it, and it came with 3 bonus faces, and I have no idea who they are. So I don't know.
What you gotta do? You gotta just make something up. Like tell somebody something. Be like, oh yeah, this is that guy that I met like in like LA, and apparently he's famous now. He's like a famous streamer or something. Like just make something up.
Yeah,
Wait,
he got
who is
murdered
it?
by
The
the
one with the
mafia.
glasses?
We actually, what's that?
It's the one with the glasses right there and the hat.
Yeah, this guy here.
Why does it? Why
This
does
guy
it
over
look?
here?
No, why does the one with the glasses look like if Glenn and Brad Haynes were mashed up together?
I thought Brad Haynes. I was like, why does he have Brad Haynes on this shirt?
Yeah,
Like, he's got
anybody who
Brad and
smokes
Glenn.
me, yeah, I put their picture on a shirt for me. Anyone who just smokes me in the playoffs, I just
Oh, I like it.
He's
memorialize
not
that.
smiling, so it could be Brad. Who knows?
Yeah, no, anyway, yeah, we should probably actually talk about RFHL. So thank you for segueing in to
Well,
the
welcome.
brand.
Hey, it's the off season. This is what we're all just chatting. All right, go ahead.
There's
This is
no
high
rules.
quality. You're getting the off season podge, the off season
Yeah.
quality for us here.
Exactly.
So speaking of high quality, championship game, stellar one for the ages. 2.0 or Sweet, who wants to take the lead on kind of walking us through what they saw in the championship?
Well, I mean, I helped broadcast Sweet Health Ref, so we both had pretty good looks at it. I will say this: it's the second season in a row where the finals was a 1-goal game with like 2 minutes left, and it's the second season in a row where like that go ahead goal or that nail in the coffin goal came very late. So another like back-to-back finals where it was just tight, awesome hockey, like very, very good hockey. I don't know how else to put it. It was an awesome finals to be able to watch.
Yeah, and if it was the second in a row, which it was, like you said, that means not to rub salt in the wound, but the mayor was on the losing side 2 seasons in a row of a tight, well-fought championship game. That's gotta hurt to well, it's kind of like what we were talking about last time, Sweet, on the pod that you and I were on together about like, would you rather lose a tight one or get blown out? And you got a double dose of that this time.
It was the third game in a row that was a 1-goal game.
Wow.
2 seasons ago, Les Moments beat Fukushima Faceoff in 6-5. So I think your season 2 years ago was a 2-goal victory. This one was a 2-goal empty netters or late, really late goals. But yeah, so the past 3 seasons have all been like
Wow.
1-goal games with a minute to go.
I
Yep.
love that though. I love that. That's what you want out of a finals matchup, right? Like when you've got everything about the league is designed to have as balanced as possible, parity among the teams, and then just the quality and teams that come together the best rising to the top at the finish. So I mean, those are the kind of finals you want and you expect if that's the goal, right? I mean, that's it was beautiful hockey all around.
Yeah, I agree. Watching the games, and we were watching the sorry to bring up memories. The game 7 was the two nights before, and I was watching that game and I was just thinking, like, man, if our Wednesday game is anything close to this, like, yes, like that's what we want. Yeah, I want the games to be close. It was a really close game. Either team deserved it. I watched about like 3/4 of it back, and even when I was reffing it, like there wasn't really much that either team could have done. I mean, there was one time I said it to Shane at the face-off circle. He had a putback rebound. The ball or the puck bounced off the wall and came to him, and he had like I could see it from the angle. Sometimes when you ref games and you're broadcasting from the other end, Bob, I know you've mentioned it. You can see exactly where, like, oh, he had it. You can see the gap, and there was like a puck's width gap between Kazmark's foot and the post, and the puck bounced off and Shane had it and he just missed it. Like it missed the post and like it missed it right by. I remember coming to face. I was like, Shane, like you're almost. He's like, yeah, it was there, and I'm like, I know it would have went in if it was on target. Like he had it, we all saw it, and like he missed, and that's the one. But other than that, like there's not any times that people didn't miss an easy putback or they had a breakaway and totally blasted over the net. Like there wasn't any play where like that was the game and they just blew it. The goalies played great. They made all the saves. The players made all the shots that they should have at the time. It wasn't even a bad bounce. It was just like a quality game that one team just happened to score more than the other, and it was the black team scoring more than purple. If you had told me that the game was the other way around and Goals R Us had won 6-4, yeah, I would have been like, yeah, that's probably what I could also tell that.
Yeah.
The one thing I said about Goals R Us from the other 2 games, I was talking to some guys afterwards, that they were like a half a step slower than they had been the weeks before. They were there and they were running just as hard. They were coming after it just as hard, getting to the pucks, but like not every puck in the corner, not every rebound went to them. There was a handful that Blockbusters was able to get, and that was the difference into why I felt Goals couldn't get the extra 1 or 2 more to tie it or take the lead. They were just a quarter of a step slower than they had been in the previous 2 weeks, and that was the difference.
Were they slower than the previous 2 weeks, or was Blockbusters matching them or faster than them this week? Because as you're saying that, I'm thinking like they outplayed us 2 weeks ago. They were beating Dump and Chase of the puck last week. Was it that they lost a half a step, or was it that Blockbusters saw that and came out with that intensity?
I would say I had saw it where anybody on Goals or Us was running after it, and anybody on Blockers was running after it, and just like whether or not the goals just stopped short or didn't quite get, like, that's what I'm saying, like a half a step. If they had taken one more step, they would have had the position and then had to turn their body to protect themselves and to protect the puck. But they were just like, nah, and they just turned the other way and like let Blockbusters get it. Whether or not Blockbusters got there first or not, they just weren't getting one more step and then turned. Yeah, you were almost there, and they kind of like just pulled back just a touch, and that like Blockbuster either maintained. It wasn't anything that they didn't clear a rebound or they didn't get their sticks down. It was just getting to the loose pucks and or coming on to defend them. There's a couple times where Jake was waiting behind the net. Jake moved the puck and came around, and just Goals was just a half a step getting there, and Jake just had a free shot. Didn't score on all of them, but I know he got one, and maybe not, maybe 2 on those plays. And it's just they were just a half a step late getting there. That's what I mean. Like just they turn, look, oh hey, there he is. 1 Mississippi. Oh, maybe I should go play defense. 2 Mississippi, and Jake's already shot it.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, because that possession game was so important to their 2 victories in the playoffs.
Agreed.
So even if goals aren't no pun intended, even if the goals aren't coming immediately out of what you're saying, Sweet, it's affecting the entire game plan. So that makes sense. Two, were you
Yeah.
gonna say something?
Oh, I want to make sure we get Rob joined, and
Oh yeah.
I saw, was that just a random neighborhood kid like waving by behind you there a minute ago?
We don't have any audio for you, Rob.
Oh, I can't hear you, Rob.
Rob's muted.
Well,
Rob, that was great
he's
insight.
figuring that out, I will say Sweet put it perfectly when he said, like, when you look
Oh,
at the
Rob's muted
score.
again. There you go.
I don't
Yeah.
think you're not muted, but like your connection isn't in there. Is your
Man, can you tell
your
we're in the
headset
off season? We all switched off already. The production
right?
value
Like
is dropping like a rock.
2.0, you and I like talked over each other there at the beginning. Rob's got the
Uh,
mute issues. This
I
is our
wouldn't
first
say we
Zoom.
talked over each other. I'd say we perfectly timed our hey, what's going on? So
Can you guys
Synchronized
hear me
zooming.
now?
There
yeah,
you
we can
go.
hear you.
Yeah, it was a very fine broadcast. Everything was organized and well run until I jumped on. So I do apologize, but that's my MO.
Well, give us your insights on the finals.
Yeah.
Oh
Since
man.
you were there and you watched and you were perched up there, what's your take on the finals?
It was played this year. It was played this year for sure. No, I had my son's baseball team that I'm coaching, so it's taken up a lot of time lately. So I
Well,
apologize. I
did
haven't been
they
around.
win?
No,
Oh my gosh.
no, we're struggling. We're struggling, but I got a young team, so we'll see what happens next year. But as for RFHL, I did catch some parts of the championship game. Uh, the score wasn't a surprise to me. I knew that Gilson had a really solid team. Just playing against them during the regular season, and actually I think when we played Rob Anders's team. What was it? I can't remember the names right now. Just like I'm on a broadcast right now, but they were pretty good as well. But they didn't like tire us out as much. I'd say that was what their foray was, is that they had some goal scorers who could back check. And when they won the championship game, I wasn't surprised at all because they just had that really, really good balance. And then Kazmark in goal. I don't know what his pedigree is for championships, but it's got to be getting very high, even in comparison to some of our all-time RFHL goalies. I'd say Kazmark has got to be entering the conversation from what I've seen. Him win another championship. I want to say he's up to 3 or 4 at least, but I want to make an estimate of that because I don't have the stats, and I know Kazmark will come after me.
I did say on the broadcast, I made a point to I think point it out also on the Podge, but on the broadcast I know I mentioned that was Kazmark was playing in his 4th championship in the last 6 seasons
Yeah, that's really
since
good.
switching to net. So
Yeah.
And he's won 2.
yeah.
Oh, he's only one. Okay, I knew he's won at
He's
least
won 4.
one.
He's won 4 total, 2 in
Okay.
net, 2 on the floor.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he was more. I just assumed he had one more on the floor because he's always in the game. I feel like 2.0 said it's 4 out of 6 is a damn good track record for anybody,
Yeah,
let alone a goalie.
I think the first one was Dungeons and Dangles, which was also Rob Anders, myself, and John Fosse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a good team. I remember that one. That was his first championship, right? You said.
Anders,
In
I
net,
think it was Anders first. Yeah,
Okay. Kazmark's first in
that
goal.
was Kazmar's first in net. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I forgot. He's one of those show-offs that has floor hockey or floor and goal championships, like you 2.0. And Bob, I think you got some too. No?
I was terrible in net in the playoffs in general, but definitely in the playoffs.
Gotcha. It's before my time, I think. Before my time, because I never saw you play goal.
I think Sweet put it perfectly earlier when he said, like, if you told me that Goals Are Us won that game 6-4 and not Blockbusters, that you wouldn't have been surprised. And that was very, very similar to like what I would have said about the game, which was that at no point did I ever feel like either team was running away with it. I thought in the first period, Goals Are Us were playing their game the way they wanted to, and Blockbusters were kind of trying to figure that out. And then in the second period, Blockbusters felt like they just dominated possession. They were just doing whatever the hell they wanted to. And Goals Are Us were kind of like a little bit off kilter, trying to figure out like how do we get back to playing the style we want. And then in the third period, it was like both teams kind of found that middle ground, and then Goals or Us would go on a couple of runs of great possession, then Blockbusters possession, and it just felt the third period felt as even as it could have been. So the entire game was, I would say, more balanced than you could have ever asked for in terms of how those teams stacked up, how they were playing against each other, how they battled, and I think Sweet said it best when he said that I think the X factor came down to just the Goals Are Us team just seemed like they were a little. I don't know if it was if it was slower or if it was just that little bit of hesitancy to go into a corner with Fish or one of those guys and try to win a puck. But you're right, there were a few where I thought, okay, Goals could have won that puck and they didn't, and hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them, because the way to beat Blockbusters seemed to be just keep possession so they don't have it, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
you know.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah,
So now
I'm also glad. I'll say from Rest's perspective, I'm also glad that there wasn't any weird goals, not goals off the post, not off the like. I hate that. I mean, it happens in the regular season, and like I'm on the bench side, and someone's like, "That was in." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, yeah, it hit the water ball. I'm like, "Yeah, it probably did." I missed it. It's so fast. I probably did. I'm really sorry. I hope it's not a 1 goal game and you guys lose by 1 and you win by 5 and cool, it didn't matter. So I'm just glad there wasn't any of that, especially in a tight game. I know the three of us, we were talking. We're just like, that's why you put 3 of us out there to get extra eyes and just making sure. And like the 2, we used to have goal judges, and that's kind of what K-Flow and Haran were doing. We're like watching the goal judges. I'll watch the players. You watch the goals, because like we don't want to miss a goal. And they're, at least to my knowledge, maybe teams disagree, but there wasn't anything that happened. We got a fire truck going on.
It wouldn't be a end of season, off season Podge without an interruption like that,
Without
right?
yeah, their firehouse is right across the way. But yeah. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the game. Well played game. I'm glad that both teams had fun, and it was a well played game, and it was a fantastic finish to the season.
Yeah, it seemed like it. I wasn't there in the gym, but I watched on the broadcast, and it just I don't have anything of value to add that you three haven't already said. So we'll move on before the mayor joins us, because I don't think he wants to rehash the
No, probably not.
Poor guy.
the game.
Yeah, he said he's on his way, so let's move on before he has to
move on before
rip that Band-Aid back off again.
Yeah, let's open the wound. So awards. I'll run through them really quick so that everyone's got them top of mind here. But Fos won MVP, John Fos, that is. Mark won goalie, Bill Smith won captain, John Haran won defense, Justin won rookie, Paul Fridman won playoff MVP, John Fos has the scoring title, Kurt Brownell most improved, Westgate Matt outplayed draft spot, Ellen for the Swiss Army, and John Haran also with blocked shots. Did I get them all? Anything I'm missing?
No, you read that. You read my spreadsheet perfectly.
All right, I can read. I can read good.
Sorry.
What anything surprise you on the awards list? Anything? Maybe not surprise. Maybe that's kind of a.
Oh, I got a surprise. I was surprised by one of them. I didn't want to jump in first, but there was one that surprised me a little bit. I guess I must. I needed to take a look at the stats one last time. I figure maybe that might have been probably what swayed a couple people. I'm still surprised that Matt McCarchuk is waiting for his goalie of the year. I thought this season was it. I know, and that's nothing against, Mark. He posted the best goals against average and he posted the best save percentage, but both of those were like minuscule like differences between him and Matt McCarchuk. And when you look at like in terms of like a full season, when you've got one guy who's 89.6, the other guy's 89.3, that's like what? Maybe like 10 saves over the course of an entire season kind of number. And then goals against average was Mark had 6, Matt McCarchuk had 6.25. If he would have hit 6.10, we probably should have given him the award without saying anything at all. But, the shutout periods, I think, probably is what tipped Mark in his favor. I think he ended up with like 5, and Matt had like 2 or 3. And then Mark obviously had like a lot of game stars because of his great play. But I guess what I'm saying is the only surprise is that like every season Matt is probably wondering like what does he got to do? Like he's just like having this awesome season after awesome season in net, and then there's just someone who just kind of keeps stealing it out from underneath him. And I almost feel a little bit bad, but at the same time it's like he's been rock solid, and I continue to be surprised not by who won, but by the fact that he has yet to win it.
So I
I
do
was going
think
to
he
say the
did
same
win
thing
one.
about. Sorry.
Rob, I was just gonna say I do think he won on the spreadsheet I'm looking at. He won in spring of 24, his
Okay,
second
okay.
season. He had an 89% save percentage that season. It was second best after Brett. 5.75 goals against. The only reason I knew that and went to look for it is because he was on my team that season.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
4 shutout periods that season, so it was his second season. But you're right, he's been like, I feel like the bridesmaid and not the bride for like 3 seasons in a row now.
Yeah.
Even though he's got that on his resume. What were you gonna say, Maston?
I was just going to say I was like 37 goals away from the scoring title this year, so I really thought I was going to hit it. But we'll let Foes have another one. I mean, put it on his record.
Yeah, and Foast did it with only playing 9 games.
Yeah,
Like
that's the crazy
that's
thing.
impressive too. That
Yeah,
John was able to add MVP and scoring title to his resume, having missed a game.
I remember he was a second round pick when I first like his first year playing with us. He was a second round pick. We had Dr. K, and I was like, I didn't know it at the time that he was going to take over, but man, he takes over games when he's going. So very well deserved.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
No,
yeah, I
you
was
go.
going to point out. I think. I mean, I had Mark on my team, and I think in my opinion is in like looking at my roster top to bottom for like the Pan Americs. Like I know that I'm not intimidating, and I don't scare anybody when anybody looks at the rosters and they don't like. I look at a game and I'm like, oh, who's on Napsters? Oh, right, like Leduc, awesome. Like, oh, who's on Dump and Chase? Oh, great, we got to play Foes. Nobody looks at Pan Americs and goes, oh, great, we got to play Sweet. They're probably like, he's probably annoying to play against, but I'm not going to end up taking over a game. So I think having Mark being having a good year and being the number 1 seed helped him with
Yeah.
like me as the top scorer, because like I'm not an intimidating force. So I think you look at the team and you're like, how did they get to be the number 1 seed? Like, oh, it was Mark, and that would be where the goalie of the year came from. I mean, in my opinion, playing on the team, and like, no, we did not have like an all-star, floor general out there. We all chipped in. We all put in a couple of goals every time. Like we all wrote. I think on our team, Rob, you're there too. Like every game, I think maybe I was the leading scorer in like 2 or 3 of the games, but then every other time somebody
Yeah,
else
it
was
was
like the
something
leading
different.
scorer. So the
Yeah,
one rock solid was Mark was playing as well as he was, and we were winning a lot of close games. So his goals against average was all low, and we were barely scoring more, but we were getting the wins because of him. The other thing I'll point out too, and then everybody else can go if they want to wrap up on the goalie, is that Bob, you mentioned that Matt won in 2024 in spring. We had Matt, Brett, Alex 2.0, and Mark are the last 5 winners. We've had a different goalie the last 5 seasons
Oh,
in a
wow.
row that have won the goalie of the year championship. So that's pretty solid. I mean, I was looking at some of the. I mean, MVP is went between Foes, Brad, and I'm gonna assume Steve
Duke. Yeah.
coming forward. But it's just kind of bounced between those. The goalie of the year has rotated all 5, the last 5. Defense, Haran's won 3 times in a row. Obviously, we have a different rookie. I mean, and now the other awards are kind of always change hands, I would say. But I mean, the goalie one, yeah, the last 5 years have been a different goalie who has won. Kind of neat.
And I just
Yeah,
feel like for Marks, every time at the end of the game, I just say give him a Tim Anderson sorry like we weren't scoring goals for him. So yeah, he definitely had a great year, and definitely glad there's been some variety to that goalie, because it's a testament to RFHL and how good this league has gotten.
Sure.
I almost want to
And
I almost want to take back my surprise now, because I guess you know what it was is like I guess it felt like every time I got to see Matt play and like see how crazy he was playing, and I guess it felt like it was his to lose. But then now I'm looking at the stats, and the context has totally changed, and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he edged him out in pretty much every category you'd want to in order to win. So it's hard to say it was a surprise that Mark won. But I guess what I meant was what I had ended up saying, in that, like, it just every season playing against Matt feels like he's just like getting better and better. It's like,
Yeah.
he's
I
on
would
that
agree.
same Mark trajectory, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I mean, yes, you're advocating for your own. If Matt had won, I think Mark was even surprised that he won, because he thought Matt as well. That's where I guess I'm kind of coming with the angle of like maybe having Reddit, who, I mean, he didn't play the week 9, but he was leading the league in goals. So like they were scoring. I don't know if that's like being like, well, yeah, Matt is having a good year, but also Reddit is helping get a couple of those wins, where like I feel like on our team, yeah, Mark pretty much got the wins for us.
And there's a little
We
bias.
weren't scoring that much.
There's a little bias though, like, like to 2.0's point, like maybe he just saw Matt play more than Mark, or like,
yeah,
he saw, like, so there's a little bit of confirmation. I don't know if it's confirmation bias is the word I'm looking for, but from what he's seen this year, then definitely, Matt's played well. So it's part of voting for anything, I guess. So
Yeah. I mean, I think all the awards were well deserved, well earned. I think everyone's saying that, even you two, you weren't throwing shade at Mark. You were just saying, Matt also played really well.
yeah,
Sweet, you hit on the point I wanted to hit on, which was the variety on goalie, and of course captain, but like Haran with a three-peat on defense. That's pretty impressive. And then MVP, back to Fos, it's been 2 seasons since he won it, but he's won it 5 out of the last 10 seasons. So 50% of the last 10 since he joined the league, I think.
Since he
50%.
joined, yep.
Yeah, he's won MVP 50% of the time. So kudos to him there too. But
I feel
yeah,
like Paul Ficken deserved an award too for what he did this year. There was no
I was
like
thinking
clear,
that.
but I mean, he got the playoff MVP, which was great. But like, 2.0 started off as goalie, went to floor. I can't remember if we've ever had anybody go from floor for like 4 or 5 years. I mean, 2.0 does it every 4 or 5 years, but like
only when the commissioner texts me personally and
yeah,
says,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah, yeah,
can you do me a favor?"
yeah. But Paul's always been a floor player, and then we made the joke about Alex Packard's pads. That should be one of the things we talk about going into the fall is, will Alex Packard wear his own pads, or will Paul take them again?
That's a good point. Are the pads cursed, or is Packard cursed? Like, who's to blame here?
Packard's always got those nihilist. I remember he used to have those nihilist memes, and he's loving this. He's like, yeah, yeah. So,
well, we've
I
got
don't know. I thought Packard's pads played better than him. So
a new user has entered the
I would
chat.
have lost my mind.
Packard's not gonna watch this. He took shots at me, so I'll give him back to this pad. So
Packard took shots at everybody.
yeah, he did. I loved it.
All
I
right,
loved
the
it.
rest
That's what
of
I
the
missed. I
podcast.
was like, oh man, that's perfect.
The rest of the podcast we're going to do is movie reviews
Yeah.
format. So now a new user has entered the chat. Rob, the mayor.
Sorry
Welcome.
about that. I heard there was a podcast. Decided to wake up and hop on.
I love the hair.
That's what happens when you got nothing to live for right now.
We've been on a 6-day bender.
You got the
Season's
windows
over.
open. That's something to live for.
At least I got Alt Bar coming up in a couple days. That's a good thing.
That'll help you dry up here. No. Good to have you, the mayor. We already recapped the championship game, so we won't put you through that again.
We lost if anybody didn't catch that.
We were
Oh,
just talking
shoot, that
awards.
happened?
He was gonna help you not have to rip that scab back off. So
We were just talking awards. Maston, I agree. Like, I was actually thinking, like, technically, I agree with everything that the awards were. I almost wish we could have voted for Paul for Rookie of the Year,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, because it was kind of like a rookie season playing in
yeah,
net.
yeah.
And I think, Justin was well deserving of it.
Yes,
He
no
definitely
doubt.
played very well, especially later in the season. But man,
Yeah.
Paul, like, I mean, playoff MVP was well deserved for him.
Yes.
He really stood on his head the last three games, and even, multiple times throughout the season.
sweet. Do
I
you
would say in that argument, if we like re-voted Paul, put Paul in for Rookie of the Year over Justin, I would lean to Justin because I would like to go back to see like Justin scored in every game
Mhm.
Sometimes
that
twice.
he
Yeah.
played in. And I know that rookies have done that, but Justin was like I think a fourth rounder doing that. I mean, yeah, like Leduc probably also scored in every game, but he should score in every game. But like a rookie fourth rounder coming in, I mean, he was the engine that drove that team, and you could see it in the semifinals when he was out with his ankle. That like yeah, they just didn't have that burst. I mean, yes, Foes was the MVP, but like Justin really was the rookie that transformed that team. And I was impressed from watching him in the rookie game to like knowing that he scored every single game that he played in, like at least a goal, like was very impressive.
I
Yes.
I'd have to say my eye opener with Justin was I don't think we played him. I don't know. He played every game, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Okay, so I feel like I didn't really notice him. No offense, Justin, but I feel like I didn't notice him in game three when we played against them in the regular season. For me, the eye opener was when we went to go play pickup hockey in Henrietta. Maston was there,
Yeah.
and I played against him, and it was a lot bigger there, a little bit more open, and that dude was flying. He was all over the place. He was on, and this is just recreational hockey, and he was on you like flies on shit. He was quick. He was shooting. He actually scored the game winner. That, and I teased him too because I think his like daughter showed up, and while we were in overtime, and overtime felt like it was never gonna end. And then she walked in, and he waved to her, and I was like, well, it's over. He's gonna score for her. And sure enough, he scored and won for her. But after that, that's when I feel like I started noticing him, and I was doing broadcasts and I was watching the games. After that Henrietta game, I was just seeing him all the time, and I'm like, dude, this dude is he's flying around. He's outplaying his draft spot. He's definitely going to be a
Yeah,
great nominee for Rookie of the Year. So yeah, he was well deserved for that Rookie of the Year right there.
definitely.
Yeah, in all fairness, when you played him in week three, he had one goal, one assist, and one block. When you played him in week 10, which I assume was after that Henrietta pickup game,
Yep.
he had 6 points on their 8 goals. So, like Sweet said, I didn't even realize that. I had to fact check him because that's apparently what I'm doing tonight is fact checking people. But he scored a goal at least one goal every single game, and then he had four hat tricks, and most of them came in the second half of the season.
so going back a little bit to Paul, in case you haven't heard, I know we've mentioned it a couple times for like 2 seasons now, but the Firestorms Hockey Club is still texting. That team chat is still like by far and away the probably the busiest chat in the entire Discord for the league. And we had all made some like kind of bold predictions for the season, and it was before draft night. The post that I put out there was on February 17th, and I think I was just looking back and I just messaged the chat. I think almost all of these came true. So my predictions were that Brian, as in D'Angelo, would be a late third to mid fourth round pick. I said that I would either go early to mid third or be picked in a really surprise spot that I've never been picked before. I said player most likely to fall beyond their normal, Tom Venero, who's normally a first. I said first rookie off the board will be Al Manza. I said Dave Foss will go to Jay Foss in round 6. And then the one I think I might be most proud of, I said Prizzy will get drafted before Paul, but Paul will outstats Prizzy. And I think he did. I think he finished ahead of him in each of the categories. And then my last ones were Dave King is a fourth rounder. He's usually a second. And then players most likely to be picked in the 3-4 swing. Kuhn, Lasagna, D'Angelo, Jake Shelton, and King.
Go. That's a great segue into the season recap. I was going to ask everyone what your biggest I told you so was. So 2.0 just hit us with about 9 of them. What other I told you so's, what did you call at the beginning of the season? Maybe not, before draft night, but beginning of the season, what came to fruition that you knew was going to happen?
Oh boy.
I'll go give you guys a minute to think because I don't know if I gave anyone a heads up about this ahead of time. The parody. I think I was on the first podcast saying I called it wrong. I said the last place team was going to have 4 wins. They didn't, but 3 of the 4 first round games were upsets on the seeding.
Mm-hmm.
So parity was there again this year. We talked about it ad nauseum in these podcasts. So,
and I'm pretty sure like 3 of the 4 teams could have won the President Cup in the last week. It was like the top 3 or even 4 teams were all still in it. So
yeah,
top
3 seeds were all separated by 1 point. Sorry, too. Top 3 seeds were all separated by 1 point, and the 4th place team had a chance at the 1 seed in the last week. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. No, that's
Sweet.
Perfect confirmation of your point.
Yeah. What about you, Sweet? What was the I told you so you had?
I think, I don't know if this is I told you so or this is just something I noticed for the season, so I'm going to hijack your question a little bit. But I did think that the parity came up because you did have some of the top end floor players having goalies that were picked in the later rounds. I know, like myself, I had Mark, Reddit had Matt, 2 had Brett, and we're not notorious for being the strong scorers or point getters. And then you had Foes with Prizzy and LeDuc with Brandon, and then even Fulano with Kenton there. And I think that helped with all the parity across the board and having and also too, it was always the matchups because those teams, the way are set up, like I felt like our worst matchup was against Napster. I didn't want to play Napster because they could score goals and like we could not score. Like we scored over 10, I think once, like, and they could just do that at will. Like that was my biggest, like, I was like, we do not match up well against Napster because of their floor makeup. But another team might be like, well, I want to play them definitely because we would like, I think the matchups is becoming more and more apparent every season of like some weeks you're going to have games where you win 10-4 and next week you lose 10-4. And you're like, what do we do differently? And I'm watching the videos. I'm like, literally nothing. We played the same exact game. That the matchup just doesn't work for us. Maston, I don't have an answer for anything. That's just my thoughts on this. That
no,
part
of makes sense.
That shook out. Yeah.
Maston, did you have an I told you so this season?
Yeah, the only thing I could say I told you so about this season is that I didn't know what I was talking about based on my picks. I was never more inconsistent in my RFHL career as far as picking games. I really liked to pick John Fose's team every week that they had players missing. That was my biggest like accomplishment here is if they were missing somebody, I was picking them that week. But no, I was really pleasantly surprised. I didn't think there'd be a lot of parity. I had a lot of confidence in John Foes, Shane Ryan, and Andrew Keller on the same team with Prizzy and goalie. I thought for sure that they would. I didn't think they would be as good as Vaders, but I knew that I just thought they would be dominant, and I was completely wrong about it. So I hope I didn't ruin next segment where we're talking about everything that you picked wrong because I picked everything wrong, so I can go head to head with anybody.
Before we get there, the mayor, did you have any I told you so's?
Goals or Us was going to make it to the championship. Told you so. Didn't end the way we wanted it, but
hey,
told you so. Actually,
a great team name you had there, Rob.
yeah, that was thought of that one on my own. I mean, realistically, I don't know if I had too many good I told you so's. I think I fell in the same column as Matched, and I feel like a lot of things that I thought were gonna happen didn't happen. Uh, I definitely did see Dump and Chase being a more deadly threat than they were, but I don't want to derail too far ahead and jump ahead of what we got coming up ahead in this podge. But yeah, Masson, I was right next to you. I mean, you were bottom of the standings for our picks of destiny. So
Yeah.
I didn't have too much to tell you. So
Yeah, Sweet could have ran with that as his "I told you so." He could have just made sure to remind us all that he. I think he snuck it out like last week against you, Bob. Right? Like there was a chance you could have caught him, but
Yeah. No,
I
his I
figured I'd
told you
just
so
have all
every
you
week.
guys remind everybody that I beat you. So you're doing a really good job at it. So I don't need to say anything.
I think I had a chance at it, but I had to go perfect, and you had to go 0 for 4, and that was the only way it was going to happen. I think it was
Yeah,
like something
we
like
picked
that.
opposites that week intentionally, and we went 2 and 2, so nothing happened.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
2.0. Did you have any other I told you so's other than draft night?
No, I mean, I think that was it. I just knew Paul would take to the net real well. I'm glad he did. I think he was the perfect, not to like blend segments together here, but I thought he was the perfect Conn Smith, award winner. Um, and just I think a lot of it is going to come down to, if he goes back in the net again, are we going to see him continue to improve? I think so. I thought he was the entire season, every game, better and better and better and better and better. So, I could tell right out of the gate he was going to be all right, but I knew just from his defensive mindset before the season even started that he was going to be better than he was giving himself credit for. So,
Yep. I saw him play in the winter too, and he was really good in the winter for like it was like a small sample size. I think he subs like maybe a game or two,
mm-hmm.
but I think he had a shutout period in the winter, which is like almost impossible.
Yes, yeah.
So I was like, maybe this kid's got some, and a little bit of a segue here, but Sweet's been saying he was going to play goalie for a long time, and I want to see. He would set the record if from going from floor for like what 15 straight seasons to goalie. So I'm putting the gauntlet down for Sweet for next year.
Well, if you look at Kaz and Paul, they're the last two to do Florida goalie.
Oh, that's right. Kaz
Yep.
Kaz was on the floor for a long time too. That's true.
They got
Sweet,
pretty good
didn't
track
you?
records.
Wasn't your championship win from a couple seasons ago? Weren't you the captain of that one too?
Yeah.
So there it is. He's got to go in net and try to win it so he can get the trifecta. Or Brian was calling it something all season, and at one point or another, the EGOT of the RFHL, which is like a floor goalie and captain championship. So all you need is that goalie ship, man. Might have to give it a try.
We'll see.
I feel like he's
downplaying it.
He's either playing coy or really annoyed by it.
He's already thought of it. It's already happened.
You know what it is, Rob? It's becoming his new 9th team. We brought up the 9th team so much at one point over a couple of years that he was losing his mind.
K-Flow still brings it up to him. Probably
every
time he sees him and talks about RFHL, I think K-Flow brings it up. So
never doing it.
Maston, you were talking about the biggest surprise of the season for you. Do you have that was going to be the next question here? So do you have any other biggest surprises you would add to the list you gave earlier?
I guess I just didn't study the teams enough, but looking back at it now, the team that won it with Newberry and Jake and all those guys, they really did have a solid team. And Kazmark with a steady goalie, I mean, they had good. So I wouldn't say it was a surprise if I had looked at this, the teams more, maybe. But they had such a good team, and really pleasant surprise that they won it. I mean, they just melded together better than anybody else at the end of the year, and that's what this RFHL championship is all about.
The mayor, I'll let you respond to that one. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mayor. I didn't mean any of it. They were horrible the whole year round, and just got lucky.
Sorry. I kind of blacked out there for a minute. I thought we were talking about RFHL and then started talking about Kaz being good or something. I don't know.
Talking about returning your movies. Returning your movies.
Yes,
that's what
yes,
Mr.
Mayor.
How good it is to return your movies to the Blockbuster, and just how efficient and how well, that store conducts themselves.
Check and press. This was flawless.
They got some really good employees that work there. They're really kind. They rewind.
I was going to say, be kind to rewind.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, do you have any other surprises this season that maybe you just didn't see coming?
I wouldn't say there was anything that really jumped out to me as like a huge surprise. And not to talk about my own team more than I need to, but I was a little surprised at like how our season went a little bit. I had a different expectation. I think come playoff time, it took me 10 weeks to realize like I was using the speed of my team the wrong way. So I flipped the script a little bit, and obviously it paid off the last 3 games, but or 2.5 games, I should say. But other than that, I mean, I talked about Dump and Chase. I feel like Dump and Chase was the one that I feel like they were going to be a top 4 team for sure, like the whole season. And I mean, I know Prizzy's kind of can have some intermittent gameplay, but I mean, besides that, they've got a hot rookie who just took off, which no one really knew he was going to take off, but that top 4 alone was solid. And then, I mean, you got Curry back there as well. Like they had and Dave Foes, who also had, besides the week he blew his shins out and the weeks he had to miss to go bowling, he had a great season too. So they had a well-rounded team, and I really thought that they were going to be a top 4 team. So I mean, I wasn't shocked to see them advance, and I mean, we got lucky that Justin didn't play in that playoff game. So that would have been a tighter battle, in my opinion, if he did. But that team was probably my biggest surprise.
In all fairness, Dump and Chase had the most goals for in the season at 112, and they were the only team in the quote unquote bottom 4 to have a positive goal differential. They actually had +3 on goal differential, and Bugaboo Creek, who was in the top 4, had a +2 goal differential. So like, I don't know, maybe that means nothing at all, but even though they were a bottom 4 team, they still played pretty well. But yeah, I agree that with both Robs that Dump and Chase was a bit of a surprise. I called them and Goals Are Us being the championship game, and the fact that both of them were in the bottom 4 didn't bode well for that. Sweet surprise for you.
I think the biggest surprise that I had, and I'm sitting here looking up stats. If everybody's looking at me on my phone, I was looking back. It didn't end up this way because I think Shane Ryan snuck ahead of Brad by like a point or two. But I know through week 8 or something, like really close to the end of the season, the top 8 in points were all from a different team.
Oh.
They were the 1 to 8 that was like drafted. And I'm looking back through, and I'm all the way back up until spring of 23, which that one still was. So I'm back to fall of 22, where a very quick look, there's always 2 guys in the top 8 for a team. So I know I said this time Shane just snuck ahead of Brad, but for argument's sake, through week 8 or 9, like, yeah, I mean, one player, I think that was good. Like, that's how it should go, like in theory, right? Everybody should have representation. But just surprised that it did work out that season this way. And I think, Bob, you mentioned the parity earlier, and I mentioned it too. I mean, I think that's what contributes to it, is that the teams were all evenly matched. The points were spread out all throughout. Even Furlano being on the A seed, he was still in the top 8 of points. It wasn't like he had a down year and that's why they were 8th. I mean, he was still scoring as he normally does. So I just thought that was kind of neat. I forgot when I mentioned that week 7, week 8 that we had that, and it almost held true to the end of the season. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, even the fact that 8 of the top 9 were different teams is still noteworthy. Like that's really cool. 2.0, how about you?
Well, Rob the mayor kind of took mine a little bit, but only in a slightly adjacent way. So one of my biggest surprises was the Goals Are Us squad was one of the ones I picked right out of the gate as a championship team, and I thought I thought they took longer to gel than what I was like on paper. I thought week 2, week 3, they're going to be cooking. Um, they got there eventually, and I guess that's what my surprise is that I was surprised it took as long as it did. But the last, I don't know, like from like maybe week 8, starting week 9, somewhere in that range, all of a sudden Goals R Us started playing a full court game, and that was like the light switch clicked. And that was the team that out of the gate I thought we were going to see every week, and they were awesome. Just relentless to the puck, relentless to play defense and back check, just really supporting Paul. And I think that's what ended up being the reason for the run to the finals. So I guess my biggest surprise was just that didn't happen sooner, because they were definitely the team that was capable of it. Another one of my surprises, though, just kind of a minor one for a couple of guys, Dave King and Steve Lasagna, both kind of having maybe an off season. Someone at the finals at the banquet was saying Lasagna went the whole season without a goal. I'm looking at the stats. It says he has 2. But there were a couple people there that were like, I can't believe Lasagna went the whole season without scoring. And I was like, I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I thought he had 1 or 2, but even just 2 is like not where he normally is. So I just think, like, if you look at the individual stats, there were a couple surprises. Dave King being one of them. He's usually a pretty potent goal scorer. Lasagna
He was in
is
the
probably one of
playoffs.
the.
He scored
Yeah, I
5.
was gonna say,
Yeah, that's
finally
right.
called the playoffs.
That's right.
Thanks, David. Thanks,
Thanks,
David
Dave.
King.
But like Lasagna is probably one of the top tier net crashers, put back goal scorers in the league. And playing on a team that was really set up to make that happen for him too, like really well. So I was a little surprised by that. So that's kind of one of my other little surprises, just like some of those little things you notice as the season goes on. How about Dave Foss getting 6? He had a couple where he scored a goal and
6 strikes, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I'm still mad at him, by the way, too, because he didn't play in any of the games against us. And I was joking with him. I was like, I love playing against him and just like talking crap with him out on the floor while I'm like going after him or something like that. So I was telling him about how I missed that. But then like the next week he comes out and he scored this goal. I'll never forget it. It was this like 3/4 of the court shot wrister that was just a pure top cheese snipe, like through traffic. Goalie never saw it. And he turned around and he made this face. He made eye contact with me. I was like reffing or something. He made this face at me like he couldn't believe it happened. And I like looked at him. I was like, "Did you black out and think you were John for a second? Like, what the hell just happened, dude?" And he's like, "I have no idea." So here's another surprise. He found a little bit of a scoring touch this season. So
I thought for sure you were going to say the biggest surprise with Foes is that he chose bowling over RFHL.
well, that goes without saying. I'm still, although he did tell me one was for money.
We're all stunned about it still. We're like, what? Why?
Yeah. He did tell me one of them was for money, and I was like, "Well, are you talking about the RFHL? Because then we got to talk. Then we got to call some people, have some conversations."
Yeah, right.
David, Mr. Tinfoil Hat over there, and he's the one bet money on RFHL.
He's on Kelsey.
Yeah.
He's a good bowler. And I also wish I would have figured out why Steve wasn't scoring either. We don't know either. We said all season long he didn't know.
So many. There was a lot of chances where it just like
I don't know
where like
it was
like the worst luck I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like, he's a goal scorer.
It was absolutely nothing to do with his play. No. I just never seen somebody have. He didn't have a monkey on his back. He had a whole goddamn gorilla the whole season.
Yeah,
it was
we don't know.
Wild.
We don't know.
But he's a hell of a defensive player too. He's another one who back checks his butt off.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he played.
I watched their game back, and I could not figure out why. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he played too many shifts with George, and George got selfish this season, decided to score more goals.
That's all right.
He had a donkey coon on his back, is what it was.
That's right. That's
there
right.
It is. That's what it was. George, you're on the do not draft list.
Oh.
Hey, I'll always draft George. He's a hell of a player.
So I'll eat a little bit of crow too. My biggest surprise was Blockbusters. Just didn't see them coming. Yeah, sorry, Rob. I'm not saying like in the championship game. I'm saying like I wasn't a believer in the Blockbusters all season long. I just wasn't. So um so I
Oh,
apologize to the Blockbusters.
they're a tough team, man. They were a tough team. Shane asked me who I wanted to play against.
Is that somebody behind you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be somebody wandering around out there.
Could
Ghosts.
you imagine if they just walked up to the window and just started like looking in, just hanging out?
Well, my kid was out there just yelling at people, telling them to come over. So maybe somebody decided to come over. But yeah, Shane asked me after we won our game who we wanted to play against, and I said I wanted to play against Blockbusters just because we had a good season against them. The first game of the season we played them, and we should have won that game. We were up and we were controlling, and then we just crapped the bed in the third period, and they came back and won. And then second game we did the same exact thing, but this time we held the lead and won the game. So I wanted that rubber match. I wanted to see how it would come out, and it came out. I couldn't have asked for a better game. I couldn't ask for a better game. It was a good battle back and forth. So they were a good team, and I feel like they were pretty well rounded, and I mean Schmally carried them to the championship, but the whole team was great. And Kaz is you can't take anything away from Kaz. Stats don't lie.
No, and I will say you're right. They were a very well-rounded team, and I think they kind of flew under the radar. At least for me, they did. Like they had plus 30 on the goal differential, best in the league. I don't remember anyone ever talking about that. They had 96 goals for, which was best out of the top four teams, and 66 goals against, which was still, second best in the league, I think it was.
Did,
So like,
they
but
also
nobody,
had that rookie Adam Dalton. Did he ever end up getting a goal in the playoffs? Because he did
not,
not have
oh, in the
one.
playoffs, you
Yeah,
did?
in the
Okay.
playoffs he did.
Okay.
First game, first round of the playoffs, he did.
So you're
That was his first goal ever.
Yeah, and the stats you're talking about, Bob, the goal differential, that's considering that they had one whole player on their team who did not score a goal in the regular season. So
And I know a lot about that. That's usually me. All right, so best game of the season. We'll run through these relatively quickly. I've just got two more for you. Best game and worst game, probably your own, your own team, unless there's one that really left a mark on you. So to give you a minute to think about it, I'll go first. Best game of the season was definitely sorry, Sweet and Maston, but the overtime winner against you all in week 8, I think it was. I think it was 4-3. I've got the stats here somewhere.
Yeah, 4-3.
4-3. I'm a defense guy. I'm a recovering goalie. I love low scoring games. Both Mark and Matt, we were talking about both of them earlier for goalie of the season. They both had over 94% save percentage. It was an awesome game. I loved that game. I wish I could play that game every single week. Sweet, let's go to you next. Best game of the season.
I can do both at once. The best game this season that I felt like that we played was against the Blockbusters in week 5. We beat them 9-7, and I felt in control, and everybody was saying that they were under the radar. Kind of thought that they could be good, but I was still on that boat. But when we played them, I was like, one, they're good, but like also we beat them. I think that they were undefeated at that point, and I think Fish and Chips was going for 20 wins in a row up to there, and I stopped them from getting that. But that to me was our best game, our complete game, 9-7 win against the Blockbusters, and then seeing how the season played out. Yeah, we beat the championship team, and I felt pretty good about it. My worst game was the worst game we played all season was against 2.0's Bugaboo Creeks. I think week 2 they beat us like 8-3 or something, and like I'm pretty sure like 5 or 6 of their goals were from 2 feet in front of the net because we were not cleaning up rebounds and didn't have any sticks on sticks, and we were not playing good defense, and that kind of woke us up that like, hey, like if we're not going to score goals, then we got to play defense. So like if we're not going to play defense, this is going to happen every week. It wasn't necessarily like a wake up call for us, but it was just like we gotta like we're not gonna score, but we gotta play defense. So I think after that game, that did kind of get everybody going and be like, all right, we'll hunker down on the defense, and that's what we ended up doing for the rest of the season. So that was our worst game of the year.
I'll give my worst two then, and then everyone can do both. The mayor, I've been kind of kicking you while you're down here a little bit, so I'll pump your tires a little bit. That first playoff game, I just you came out so hot and so intense, and we just came out flat, and it was demoralizing. Like it was hard to like try to stay positive all game long, knowing that like we're just getting outplayed in every aspect. And like sometimes you lose a game and you just got outplayed in one aspect or another aspect. Every facet of that game we got outplayed, and that just sucks. So that was my worst game.
Yeah, I
2.0,
mean,
go to you next. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I was to say, I feel like I got to jump in from there because that was I would have to say that's my best. That was our best game. That was like the light at the end of the tunnel for us because, like I said, I expected more from us this season, and I feel like we just came up short. Had game plans. We had different ways that we want to attack, and I drafted the way I drafted, um, kind of a combination of I wanted to play with some people that I'm friends with, but then I also wanted to build a little bit of speed and shooting. Like I had Al, I had Frankie, RIP, I had Shane, and I'd never played with Cody, but I figured Cody could run. So I just had this like intention of how I was gonna build this team and like how they were gonna move. And I had this game plan each week where we're gonna go fast, we're gonna go fast. And it just did not work for us. And so it kind of Firebirds, you guys were my best and worst. And my worst games had parts one and two. The game week two um was a combination of it was our second week in a row where we could not score a goal in the first period. It took us until the third week to score a goal in the first period, which killed me. And then we only scored one goal the first game we played against you guys. Like I've never screamed so loud on the court when scoring a goal that I didn't score. Like I got an apple on Al's goal, but like I was like, Jesus, we finally scored a goal on Matt. Like it took forever. And then the second time we played you guys, it's same thing. We scored two goals. It just I felt like we could not find a way to get a goal. So when we played you guys in the playoffs, I was like, we're changing everything. We're not doing the way we're not doing it the way we've been doing it. Like I never started a game all season, so I was like, I'm gonna start tonight. We're gonna slow it down a little bit. We're gonna change it, and it worked. So Firebirds were my weakness, but then also my strength.
There you go. Two sides of the same coin. 2.0, what about you?
Um, I would say, this is gonna sound funny. Best game, I think, was actually probably week one. I know that sounds a little bit crazy to go back that far. Um, but I think a lot of people I've played with at this point know that like one of my favorite things is, obviously I'm pretty competitive and obviously I've got like I kind of see the game and try to like talk about like what's going on to the teammates, but I do that because I love seeing teammates succeed. Like it's one of my favorite things in the whole world is to just thread a pass to someone and have them like score a goal or have them have a good game. So week one stands out to me because every one of us scored. Ellen was on fire. I think she scored like two in that one. Blotz had two. Um, it brings me a lot of joy when players across like up and down the board are doing well. And the vibes couldn't have been higher. Obviously, week one and getting a win out of the gate is great, but you know, there's plenty of other games I could have said this about, at least in terms of like team success and like how that game went against maybe a tough opponent and we like really wanting to win that game and whatever. But in reality, week one is hard to beat for me because, like I said, just watching like Ellen and Blotz and Bob and everybody get on the board, that makes me the happiest is seeing everybody else do well in a game. Um, my
Doesn't
least
hurt that you had 4 goals that game too. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a, you know, um, I
You
knew
had a
that
seven
like
point
like
night.
I kind of wanted to like, you know what it was is I kind of wanted to prove to Leduc that I wasn't just a goalie. So like I was like looking forward to like going out on the after the game. He even came up. He's like, God damn it, you're big and a little bit quicker than you look. And like I think like afterwards he was just like, that's your game. He's like, you're power forward and use that size and everything, but. Um, Least favorite games is kind of a tie. One of them because of the way we played in general. It was against Dump and Chase Picken, but not the game you're thinking of. It would have been week 7. I thought that was probably our lowest point of the season. They were just doing whatever the hell they wanted against us. Defensively, we were all over the place. I think, if I remember correctly, I feel like we were down a player that game. Or maybe no, they were down Dave. I know they were down Dave Fose. Um, but they just were moving the puck, doing whatever the heck they wanted. It was just one of those games where it was just so frustrating to try to like do something or lift the team up. I told Sweet a couple times throughout the season, there's a weight that you feel when you're being drafted in the first round. This is the first time I've ever been drafted that high, and I just felt like in that game in particular, like I could have done more. I should have done more. I think I even texted Sweet. I think what I said to you was like a 1 would have done more. And I was kind of just like I just felt awful that I could not get it together and find something to help our team grab onto whatever we could in that one. But the other game that was kind of like an equal bummer was actually it was week 6 against goals. Um, in particular, the I mean, what stands out to me is just Frankie getting hurt. I'm still not over it. It really bothered me for a lot of the season that happened, and just like I know it was just one of those fluke freak plays. It could happen to anybody at any time. We saw it happen with Conco, and whatever. But when you're like involved in it, and you are the kind of player like Frankie and I are both, I think, very similar in the sense that we play hard. We want to win, want to play fast and whatever. But then when that happens, like it took the wind out of my sails. And I do want to say thanks to Mayer because I think at one point it was maybe the third period in between the second and third, and I think you could tell I was just like out of it. Like I was just like really downtrodden about it. And you said something like don't don't let it eat at you. It could have happened to anybody, or you said something to that effect, and it helped a little bit, but it was still something that just even right now, like it just was bothering me the whole season that even happened at all. So not gonna love that week either. So
Yeah, he isn't either, if that makes you feel better.
no, it doesn't.
Oh, he's okay though. He's walking around. He was actually shocked. It was crazy. He was when he was giving us updates, he was absolutely blown away that when he sent us the laundry list of what was actually wrong with his leg, he was shocked because he's like, I've been walking on this thing for a couple days. Like he wasn't as much pain as like quote unquote the injury is. So he was actually really shocked about that. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna bounce back and he's gonna be back soon. So he'll be all right. He's a tough cookie.
Maston, that's a tough story to follow here, but let's why don't we start with your worst one so we can end on a positive note. Let's start
Yeah,
with the worst game and then we'll go to the best
the
game.
worst game was definitely the last one we played in the quarterfinals. We were up 3 goals at one point, and I thought we were playing well. And 3 goals for us was a lot because we were a really good defensive team. But man, Michael Scott just was insistent on winning that game the way they played. They just would not stop, just furious. And they basically matched us at our own game. And, when I heard Dave King had a down season, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He had a good season from what I saw when he scored that winning goal. So, with me still trying to get over that hump and get a championship before I retire. So that one really hurt. And then the one that I was really happy about is you play 3 teams twice, and we played 2.0's team. They beat the snot out of us, like Sweet talked about earlier in week 2. Like they just demoralized us at every end of the gym. And then week 9, we came back and won a close one against them. I think it was pretty close.
4-3.
Yeah, that one. And I think was it an overtime? Maybe it seemed like overtime, but for us to come back after losing so decidedly in the beginning of the year and just grow from that and win, I thought we had a really good chance at doing something. So that was definitely our biggest win of the season from my perspective.
All right. So at this point in the pod, which is already going a little bit long, so I apologize about that. It's going to shake it off. None of us were Cup winners. It's behind us. You know, if I were like kind of like a life coach or something, I'd have us all like write it on a plate and then smash the plate or something, or put it on a piece of paper and throw it in the fire pit or whatever. But I'm not a life coach, although I won't go there. Any last thoughts on spring 2026? Going once, twice.
I tried my best.
We
All right.
all did.
Congrats to John for being our second unicorn. I'll say that.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. We should give kudos to Fish.
Yeah.
All right. So, sweet. Take us into the future. What's next for RFHL?
All right. So coming up next, if you're still listening, by now you're probably going to attend these things that we're going to list off, because if you're not listening by now, you don't really care enough to stick around. So no, next up this Wednesday we have no hockey, but we're going to the Alt Bar. We're going to hang out with Bob. The Bob at Alt Bar. I sent an email that had this information too, but again, who knows who read it. But it is there. So if you didn't get an email, go back and look at your emails. Check your junk. It's all there. So that's this Wednesday. I know I'm planning on going 6:10 or 6 to 8. I'm just saying 6:10. I mean 6 o'clock is fine. It might go later than 8. I'm just trying to say a time when most of the people will be there. But yep, 6 to 8 is when we're coming to hang out. You got the back room for us there. Try some of the non-alcoholic drinks that you make there, and it should be fun. I'm excited to come see your place. I know it's been consuming a lot of your time, and you mentioned it a lot, talk about it a lot. So I'm glad to come and support you for that. So that's this Wednesday, and then on the 3rd is pickup hockey, open to anybody. I would assume 6:30 till 8:30 over at Westgate Park. Open to anybody. It doesn't need to be in the summer. If you'd want to come out and try it, I tell everybody to do it. Come out and try it. And then June 10th is the spring draft and the spring rookie game. So I think Hook's going to be sending out an email this week about spring stuff. So if you sign up for spring, you should be hearing about spring pretty soon.
You mean summer?
You mean summer? Yeah, summer. Sorry, summer. I got summer shirt
spring's
on here.
behind us.
Summer.
Yeah.
We got spring.
Summer.
No more spring. No more rain.
Yeah. So summer. So he's going to email about summer for that. But that is June 10th. Everybody's welcome. We normally have gone to Cannonball Kurtz, but because June 10th was on a Wednesday, we need to celebrate it playing some hockey. There's going to be lawn games, cornhole, can jam. Brian D'Angelo's making up some hockey shooting game, saucer toss, but in his own version. Pickleball and some hockey. So come on out on June 10th. And then we got the fall. Fall information will be out in August. What do you guys got? Are you guys all doing those things? What are we doing?
I might show up to Alt Bar.
I heard little birdie said that you would be making all the drinks for everybody all night.
I'm going to be behind the bar, I think. And also, if you want to throw some drink name ideas in the chat, maybe I'll make a special RFHL drink for the night.
Nice. I would really love to make it. I got baseball for the next through June, but I'm going to try and, if you guys are still up after 8, I might see if I can get up there for both that and June 10th. So, but yeah, my 2 house teams, and then my other son just started another team. So it's crazy, but it'll be something that'll be a lot of fun for everybody.
June 10th will be going until 10 p.m. So you can swing up after.
I'll be there for that then.
Yeah, June 10th is going from 6 to 10.
6 to 10. Gotcha. Okay.
On June 10th.
Will the park allow us to be there that late?
No, it closes at 9:30. But
okay. The mosquitoes get there at 9.
You must know it. You must know a guy. So
yeah.
All right, well, I think we said that this was going to go 30 minutes, and it's gone well past 30 minutes.
Sorry, I overslept.
Was that?
Sorry, I overslept.
You're good. Do all 5 of us want to do the send off together in concert? 1, 2, 3.
Is it Wednesday
Wednesday
yet?
That was awful. All right.